It's 8:30 Pacific time when I'm doing this. We got in late last night, Monday nighter. Wheels up out of Vegas probably around midnight. I think just before midnight, maybe. Ended up getting back to the facility just prior to 1 a.m. and ended up getting head to pillow about 1:45 ish. So happy to be back. Happy to have, as Coach said in his post-game locker room conversation, pep talk with the guys. Happy flight. It was a happy flight. It was a quick flight, and I think after setting the tone with Brazil and 11 hours each way, nice little 45-minute on the way home, maybe 35-minute on the way there. Pretty great, and going to set us up for what is a season of a lot of East Coast trips. And when you do 11 hours, man, 5 hours home from New York or Jacksonville or Miami, or 4 hours back from Nashville, or 3 hours back from Kansas City, going to seem like nothing. So appreciate all you popping in here. Get to this one. It was a heck of a game last night. A lot of fun, man. Electric atmosphere, and a huge tip of the cap to the Bolt fam for showing up, man. I said this on the radio show, on Petros and Money Show, when we were doing it. I remember last year, week 18, when, back against the wall, Antonio Pierce trying to save his job. Can you kind of show out? And instead, you looked at Allegiant Stadium, and it was 50% Charger fans, if not more. And then this week, last night, I would say a good, 10, 15,000 fans, 20,000 of those fans were Charger fans. That whole Charger sideline was powder blue. And credit to you guys for making the trip. I mean, I remember when, I was calling games nationally, and I did a Charger Raider game down at Qualcomm, probably circa 2012, right in that range. And man, it was gnarly. And it was a lot of Raider fans, and it was almost like Charger fans were like, we want nothing to do with this. And now you guys are all making your way out to Las Vegas and taking over their stadium. So pretty cool to see. And I think there's a cool, if you follow the Chargers social media feed, which I'm sure many of you do if you're tuning in here, there's a really cool video at the end. It's Derwin, Dayon, and Keenan as they're coming off. Derwin did I think Derwin and Keenan did some post-game stuff. I think Keenan was on with Scott Van Pelt. Derwin was doing the post-game with the on-site crew. And Dayon, I think, might have been doing something else, maybe national radio or I don't know. But talk about three energy guys, and as they're all coming off together, you can just see the crush of powder blue there in the corner of Allegiant, and makes it 3 in a row now against the Raiders. They had a 4-game win streak against the Raiders, 17-18. And that's a good Raider team. It's a Raider team that held the Patriots to 13 points, a Patriot team that put up over 30 on the Miami Dolphins. You saw what the explosive rate was for Geno Smith, 10.6 yards per attempt. The most explosives, he had 3 30-plus air yards, if you include the 30s into the 20s and all that. Or no, I think it was, I think it was 330, 5 20-plus, and 9 20-plus air yard passes against the Patriots. And, man, Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator of the Chargers, is something special. We said it all last year, and I to this day, I'm still floored, and I'm drinking coffee. It's not a beer. So there you go. Here you go. The best in classic and contemporary surfboard since 1959. The Great Harbor Surfboard Surf Shop here in Seal Beach. Getting my coffee here because got up early and surfed, as you can tell probably by my hair. It's all wet. But where was I? Oh, the defense. Yeah, Jesse Minter. The fact that the guy didn't get interviewed, not even an interview. And thank goodness for the Charger fans that he didn't, because that ain't going to happen this year. I can tell you right now, what he's putting on tape, did it last year 10 games in a row. 10 games in a row to start the season. They held their opponent to 7 or less in the first half. They didn't allow a touchdown to the Raiders in this one. 6 points in the first half, 2 field goals. 6 points to the Chiefs, 2 field goals. And they're off to the same sort of start as they were last year. They lose Poona Ford. What did Coach Harbaugh say? That's going to leave a mark. Man, you go through it, and I think we had 15. I don't remember. I've been calling, obviously, games for the Chargers since 2017. I don't remember a game in which we saw 15 passes defensed. And by 7, 8 different players. 15 by 8 different players. And if you go through it and you try to figure out, okay, where is the strength, man? And there was great action up front. Deshaun Hand, I mean, Thule was a menace when it came to pressures. I think was it DJ Glaze? No, it might have been Kappa that he picked up a lineman and just threw him into Geno Smith that led to a sack. I mean, it was really fun to watch. So credit to those guys up front. How about Naquan Jones? Guy doesn't play a snap last week. Ends up getting all the snaps over Tito this week. Comes up with chases Geno down when Geno's on the run trying to make something happen. And Naquan busts that play up. Had a huge pass defense in there as well. So you got Naquan and, I mean, Dayon with a game for the ages. But I'll just stick up front. So you lose Khalil Mack. Khalil has a sack, 12 and a half now against the Raiders over the time span of which he's collected those sacks against the Raiders. No player has more sacks against an individual team than Khalil does against his former team. And, man, he was off to a heck of a start. He loves playing the Raiders, so it was such a bummer that he had the injury. Still no word. I'm doing this at, 8:40 a.m. Pacific time, and no word on what that injury is. But hopefully it's, not as bad as it looked on the replay. When you saw that arm just kind of bend backwards, that was a tough watch. But, and man, what a great start to the season for him in Brazil, a great start to this game. So we hope he's all right. But that's going to bring up a big question because, Kyle Kennard's been inactive these two games, really struggled, I thought, through training camp in the preseason to kind of show anything. I think it was one of the big reasons why Caleb Murphy ended up making this roster. And so, does that mean Kennard is now active? And it's like, hey, 4th round SEC Defensive Player of the Year. This is your time to shine. Let's get out there and let's get after it. And I have full faith in Mike Elston, the D-line coach, and Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator, to get him ready. If it's going to be Kyle Kennard that ends up stepping up. I should check to see where Tremont Morris-Brash is because I know that's a guy that, was really close to making the roster last year, was on the practice squad, was really close to making the roster this year, was on the practice squad. So figure out where he is. Maybe he gets snatched up, and he could be a guy. It's a bummer that Dallas just signed Jadeveon Clowney yesterday. Just signed him because he would have been an absolutely perfect, sets the edge, great edge run defender, what Jesse Minter likes, and obviously gives you a little juice in the passing game, but unfortunately just signed by the Cowboys because that would have been a perfect fit. So, and there's really not anybody else out there. It would have to be a trade situation, and that'll obviously depend on what the deal is with Khalil and what that imaging test comes back and says. I'm sure by the time this thing posts for a couple hours, we'll have some of that information. But as it stands right now, I think you saw what they did. And that's what's incredible about Jesse Minter is you're going out there with Justin Aboigbe playing edge, and you're getting pressure from the inside. Let me pull up. I got all my stuff right here. Kind of see how that went with pass rushing stats, and you've got. Here we go. Look at this. Thule was 6 pressures. I mean, he was, like I said, an absolute menace. 6 pressures, 5 hurries, a 15% pressure rate. Deshaun had 2. Bud had 2. Jamari Caldwell with 5 and a sack. Your rookie 3rd round pick. And I remember, that's the thing about the draft, man, is all these people, and I shouldn't say it that way, people get so caught up in draft experts. And I don't mean to use that quote in a negative way, but it's just one person's opinion and the way they have these things slotted. Jamari Caldwell, man, in the 3rd round, people were like, wow, 3rd round, that seems high, a little bit rich. Guy ends up playing, gets 23 pass rush snaps and a pressure rate of 22%. How about that? A 13% win rate, 22%. Tier Tart, man, I talk about a signing of the year last year when they scooped him up because Miami, for whatever reason, didn't want him. And he has found a home. And again, Tier Tart with a 24% win rate, 4 pressures for him, 3 hurries. I mean, it was impressive up front. I think a lot of people were concerned about the pass rush against the Chiefs. And I said, let's dial that back. I think a lot of that was by design. And I think we saw, in this one with a backup right guard and Kappa, with a center who's still trying to figure it out. Colton Miller always gets abused by Khalil Mack. And DJ Glaze, good player. But I thought the Chargers front is really kind of what got that going. And that wasn't even as impressive as the linebacking core. I mean, my goodness, what Deion Henley did in that game, 10 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 2 passes defensed, an extra quarterback hit in there, an interception, nearly had 2. And it was man, that was something. That was a performance for the ages from day on. And they don't have passes defense. Yeah, I mentioned 2 passes defense. Look at this, 15 passes defense, and it was like a twofer. Dante Jackson with 2, 2 for Alohi, 2 for Tony Jefferson, 2 for Thule, 2 for Derwin, 2 for Tarheeb. Tarheeb had a heck of a game, man. Tackling is so important. I think I was having an inner dialogue with myself because I was delirious. It was so late. And I was just kind of thinking about, just go back like 5 years and think about the run defense of the Chargers. And so much of that was predicated on corners that could not tackle and just weren't strong enough at the point of attack. Too many missed tackles, too many broken tackles, too many bad angles. Man, Tarheeb he's something. He is something. You know, you look up and you see 9 tackles, 7 of them solo, 2 passes defensed, a tackle for loss. He had that tackle on Brock Bowers, man, or was it Bowers? He had 2 tackles in that game that could have gone to the house. That he was like last man. Yeah, there was one on Bowers, and I know Bowers didn't have the juice, and that was a huge deal for the Raiders to not have that. But Tarheeb played a heck of a game, man, and I think look at Dante. I mean, just look at the interceptions. Dante with 1. Tony Jefferson, man, I don't think you can put him back on the practice squad after that. I don't think, unless he's just sending the word out that he's got no interest in going anywhere. But here with the Chargers, but I don't know how you send him back down. I think you're going to have to figure something else out on that front because every time he's in a game, he makes a play. And Unk, as they call him, man, what an interception. I mean, that was just incredible to work your way all the way down the field and then still have the energy to outleap your receiver, high point that ball, and come down with the interception. And, that was one of the things about the way that they decided to play this. Going into the game, I should have kept my board because I had all this stuff written on there. But Geno against the Patriots, they blitzed him 44% of his dropbacks. This stuff I remember because I said it multiple times. They blitzed him on 44% of his dropbacks. He was 9 of 13 for 135 yards and a passer rating. No, it was 9 of 13 for 180 yards and a passer rating of 137. And so when you look at the Chargers this week, let me see, what did they do? You know what? This is let's see. Chargers, blitz. Here we go. What do we got? They did not blitz very often. It says 18 plays, but I want to make sure that is. So it says they blitzed them 18 times, and they were exotic blitzes where they were coming from, man. Some of it was coming from the corner. Some of it was safety. Some of it, like I'm just looking through this one right now. Let's see what this one is. And yeah, this is just, and when they blitzed, it wasn't as effective. It was when they were getting home with 4. And Jesse Minter and Mike Elson, you didn't know where it was coming from. Sometimes it's Dayon rushing, sometimes it's Derwin, sometimes it's Tarheeb, sometimes it's Alohi. Like they were Troy Dye was in there a lot, and you would have the D lineman drop back out. So it was really impressive. And that's the thing about Geno. DJ did a great job talking about this. Daniel Jeremiah, who does the games with me, talking about how with Geno, you don't want to blitz him because if he can see if it's open for him downfield, he's making those throws. He did it last week, all those explosives. But if you're able to get there with 4 and muddy the picture, that's when he has issues. And I think it's safe to say he had issues, right? 3 interceptions, could have been 4, could have been 5, really, if you think about it. And the Raiders' offense just never had anything. Like there was nothing. You had a couple nice runs from Ashton Genty, 11 carries for 43 yards with a long of 13. Geno had the one big scramble. But outside of that, you look at the receiving, you had what did I say? 10. I think it was 9 or 10. It was either 9 or 10 receptions of 20-plus yards. Yesterday they had 2. 2. That's it. They could not. And those were all yaks, by the way. I'm talking air yards against the Patriots is what it was. And anytime he tried to go deep, this defense was after it. So appropriate to lead with defense in this one. They're in the conversation, I think, is the best defense in football. That's a Raider team that had a quarterback put up 360 yards passing to lead the NFL, or second in the NFL to Josh Allen after week 1. It's a Chiefs team that you pretty much had bottled up the entire. It was just a couple broken plays that were the difference in that thing, and open Travis Kelce on a busted coverage that led to a touchdown, and a 4th and 7 getting sucked up and passing off a receiver to nobody that led to a 49-yard gain, and that was really it. So just kudos to Jesse Minter and the defense that he has put together yet again. And a lot of people question whether or not they were going to be able to replicate it, and whether or not this Chargers team was going to take a step back. And that meant that the offense had to take a step forward in order to equate those two things. But I don't get the sense that there is any step back from this defense. I think they're better than what they were last year. Just Deion taking that step from, he should have been a Pro Bowler last year. That was a great travesty. From Pro Bowler to All-Pro, Derwin maintaining his All-Pro status. The fact that you're looking at Tarheeb, who's now taken that step into the Pro Bowl conversation as a corner, and I think you still have been at least level, if not better, at all the other positions. Thule, who had a heck of a month, 1 month last year, came on last night, man. He was darn impressive. I just want to pull up team stats, defense. Let's go defense, yards. The Chargers. Yeah, how about this? So the defense, yards allowed, Chargers are 6th in passing yards. They are, because they're at 199, so mid-pack. Rushing yards, they're top 10. And obviously points per game, they're 3rd. Last year they were 1st. So 3rd in points per game, Chiefs and Raiders. And now you got a Broncos team coming in. Broncos points per game are at 20.5. So I'm not going to preview here. We'll do that on Believe tomorrow with Lorenzo, and Chargers Weekly with Chris and Jaleel on Thursday. All right, so offense. Let's get into the offensive side. Like, this is the thing, and I love PFF. They do an awesome job, but when I go into PFF and I pull up my offensive summary and I see that they've graded Justin Herbert at a 63, like a mid-pack grade for Justin Herbert on the, what do they have him at? Yeah, 67.9, a passing grade of 68.5. That's what they have him at. So that's good. And as someone who watched the game, starts the game out 1 of 5, 1 for 5 for 5 yards. That's what he started. He finishes the game 18 of 22 for 237 yards. 18 for 22 for 237 yards after that 1 for 5 start. And 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of 122.8, and they grade that as a mid-tier performance. So that's the one thing to be careful of when you hear about how they grade them. I was checking out the offensive line. They stuck Mackay. I didn't think he gave up any pressures in the game again for the 2nd consecutive game. They stuck him with 2. I would respectfully disagree with what they called 2 pressures there. Joe Alt, I think, they got him for 2. I'd say, yeah, those were legit. He had 0 last week. Zion had another great game. That's the other thing about this offense. We were so concerned about the pass protection, and they've been elite. Like, not good, elite. That pocket with Max Crosby, I mean, Herbert had all day to throw. One of those sacks he ran into. Pocket was clean. He thought he saw a lane to take off and run, and it closed up and led to a sack. Other than that, man, it's just clean. And that's a really good front for the Raiders. I mean, Kuntz, Crosby, Trey Pipkins didn't allow a pressure. At least that's what it said. I thought there were a couple. I mean, Max Crosby's a problem. So that was great. How about Q's 60-yard touchdown? We talked about the issues he had tracking the ball over his head and just securing that thing. And Q ends up getting that 60-yard touchdown for his 3rd of the season. He leads the Chargers in receptions again. Only needed 3. Obviously, the 60-yarder was the big one. Keenan Allen, another touchdown. He's now got 2, 5 more catches for 61. Ladd, 5 for 48. If I want to, I'll tell you this, man. I want to see more Najee Harris running the football. In that 4-minute drill, just you see those legs churn, the presence, the physicality that he brings. And I think it's safe to say that, the vision, missing the training camp, I know they're trying to ease him back into this thing. but I think it's time to cut him loose a little bit more. And he was great in the receiving game, some huge receptions at the end of that game. Ended up with 2 for 20 to keep this thing out of the hands of the Raiders, although it really didn't matter. I mean, 3 field goals, they had nothing going. I mean, the fact that they drove 11 and a half, I think 72 yards, 11 and a half minutes off the clock, and they settled for a field goal because they just couldn't go for it on 4th and 11. It was really impressive. So the Amari and Hampton fumble, I went back and watched it. It was just kind of I think there's a lot of things at play. Max Crosby with a hell of a rep, man. He was in the backfield, and I'm wondering if Hampton saw that in his periphery, and that led to him just not quite getting that thing locked in from Herbert and securing it, because he was trying to figure out what the heck am I going to do. Max Crosby is about to destroy me because he's a missile right now here in the backfield. So, but Amari had a couple really good runs. Still had a couple great runs, and I think I would like to see a few more carries. But Herbert's just cooking, man. 27 passes, 26 with Justin Herbert's 9 rushes. I just don't think you want Herbert to be your leading rusher for the second consecutive game, and you're leading, to lead the team in carries with 9. So I think you got to adjust that, especially against that defense of the Broncos. But it's working, man. Herbert's cooking. He's spreading the ball around. And again, in the conversation, he's going to be listed as one of the MVP favorites after these 2 weeks. 2 division games, 2-0, 5 touchdowns. I think the over-under on him for the season was 21.5 touchdowns, I think is what it was. He's already got 5, which I get. It's Herbert. It's Harbaugh. It's Greg Roman. You think it's going to be run heavy again, like it was last year, but he's gonna fly by that and put himself back in that conversation as a 4,000 plus yard passer, 30 plus yard. I don't know what's going on with my damn phone. It's freaking out. Sorry. Just trying to get my watch to stop beeping at me, because I think all the salt in it has led to one of the buttons getting stuck. So it's trying to make an emergency call. My great apologies. Please stop. Please stop. I don't know if you can hear that. Hear that? It's trying to make an emergency call right now, which is what it did the other day. Oh boy, come on now. All right, well, put it there. Hope it works. Sorry, everybody. All right, let's get to your questions. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Herbert, defense we talked about, but the kick returns, I didn't think there was anything really there. Cam Dicker, congratulations to Cam Dicker. Most accurate kicker in NFL history. 2 for 2. He is now 95 for 101 on his field goals. He has only missed a single field goal under 50 yards. 1. That's it. 1 miss under 50 yards in his career. And he had not kicked well at Allegiant. 2 of his 6 misses were at Allegiant. So good to see him get those 2 that went through. So, all right, let's get to you, the people. Scroll all the way up here. And again, a big thank you to all of you for checking in. And then we'll try to get out of here and not go as long. No morning beer. No, Chargers hype. No morning beer, just a cup of coffee. I got to do a full radio show today. And I have dinner tonight, little business dinner. So, yes, no beer. Sky Felix, what's up? Appreciate you. Justin Shannon, hello to you. A lot of hellos here. I love that. Love from Indianapolis. I love Indy. Huge fan of Indy. Go every year, of course, for the Combine. And I've done a million Big Ten tournaments there. So, big fan of Indianapolis. Basbo Pizzas, love that. That's one of my Basbo Pizzas, one of my favorite spots. What else do I love down there? Not coming to mind right now, but plenty of places to eat. I'm a big fan of Three Floyds beer, of course. That's an Indiana beer. Been a while since I've been able to catch you live. Well, great to have you. Thank you. Crush, Marico, hello. Happy Tuesday to you. Old Pipes, Money Smith. Yes, old is correct, man. An old man is what you got here. 8:30 a.m. What beer are you drinking? I know. We got to get back. Look, we'll be back to it next week. We'll get back to the beers next week after the Bronco game, and hopefully a 3-0 start. Chargers sitting atop of the AFC West at 2-0. Raiders, Broncos 1-1. Chiefs 0-2. Pretty sweet, right? They call me Wads. 1 looks like he may have fixed. Herbert looks like an MVP. Oh, 1. Q. Yeah, I mean, look. People used to have patience. People no longer have patience. I know the drop, but again, it's all relative, right? Everybody wants to pretend everybody, I shouldn't say percent, everybody wants to compare. And that's what Harbaugh told us. Coach Harbaugh told us in the pregame. He's like, look, Ashton Genty and Amari Hampton are going to be compared to each other their whole careers because they were both first round backs. That's just the way it is. Q's always going to be compared to Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers because they were drafted right after him. And so that's always what he's going to be measured against. And this year, he's holding his own. Jordan Addison, off the field issues, not even out there for his team, while Q's already got 3 touchdowns. So and you hear the way the team talks about him. Trust them. Trust the team and what Justin Herbert says and what Ladd McConkey says and what Coach Harbaugh says and Joe Ortiz, who joined us on Chargers Weekly this week and said, look, I love Q. We were going to draft him. The Chargers had taken Zay Flowers. We were taking Q in Baltimore. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, and he's catching the ball now. And so all is good, right? We're good. 60-yard touchdown, over the shoulder, tracking it and using that speed to pull away and recognizing where that defender was. And man, what a throw by Herbert. Hit him right in stride. If he's got to gear down or adjust, he's not getting the touchdown. That thing was put on a pinpoint for Q to snatch that thing up and maintain his speed and take that all the way into the end zone. I was there, buddy, way to go. A lot of Bolt fam in the building and impressed. Like I said, a lot of people never would have thought of going to the Oakland Coliseum wearing their powder blues and supporting their Chargers. And here you had at least 10,000 of you. This is Ivan. Can't say the rest of it. Thank you for what you do, money. Shout out from Santa Barbara. Love Santa Barbara. Super Rica is my spot up there. I love Super Rica. Respect QJ. Ladd breakout game next. Yeah, look, Ladd's been solid, right? A couple huge first down catches. Here, I got the stats right here. Ladd, 5 targets, a long of 19, 5 catches. 5 targets, 5 catches, 48 yards. Take it. What do we got? Exactly what we need. Patience, believe in our team. That is Ida. Dan, Matt, great win forever. Chin forever, exactly right. I'm wondering if that got to him a little bit. If going for that 4th down on that jet sweep and just trying to put the game away right there was a little, because these guys don't like each other, and that's great. It's great for football that Pete and Jim don't like each other, and they're going to play each other twice a year. But I almost wonder if that 4th and 1 was like, oh yeah, we're just going to run this thing down your throat like I did with Toby Gerhart and that 55-21 win or 23 win, whatever it was, and just lean on you. And I almost, that 4th down call was very interesting and uncharacteristic, right? It's an offense that had a 4th and goal from the 1 and opted to kick a field goal, and yet they're going for a 4th and 1 on their own side of the field. But hey, whatever, worked out. This is I'm gonna go Brian Barajas Brian. Oh no, that's not a comment. Here we go, Kevin. How do you think Herbert rushing threat is adding to the offense? Considerably. It's just so different from last year. You see what his legs can do just by extending. Think about him using his legs to extend that play to that touchdown toss to Keenan. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. Amarian had the fumble. I went back and watched every one of his pass protection reps. Holy cow. I mean, he absolutely uproots Devin White on one of those. It was the Keenan play, actually, the Keenan touchdown. If you go back and watch that, Devin White's coming on a delayed blitz. Amarian picks it up and absolutely stones that guy and then continues, doesn't give up on the play as Herbert's rolling to his right. Amarian is running step for step with White standing in front of him. So, but Herbert's legs, yes, it's huge. It's absolutely huge what he's been able to do. And so much of that goes into the passing game because of the threat of him running. So, and he just didn't have it last year with the plantar injury and the high ankle sprain. Do we have the best receiving core in the league? I mean, hard to say when you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins out there. But, Keenan and Ladd and Q, if this holds up, yes, they're going to be in the conversation. That is a big 3. And when Keenan and Ladd are on the same side of the field, the precision with which they run their routes is, I mean, you can put that particular skill, they have speed, the player has size. Like, their route running is so precise and their hands are so good that I think it's weird to say, and I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, because like I said, you got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown out there. You got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I'm just going through them now. Like, who else would be in that conversation? No, not them. Not them. Dallas, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is pretty darn good. Detroit with Jameson and Amon-Ra is pretty darn good. Austin and Metcalf in Pittsburgh. Atlanta's pretty darn good with Drake London. Yeah, you know what? Oh, Tampa. Yeah, if Goodwin's healthy, if Godwin's healthy, with Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka, that's pretty good. But yeah, look, they're in the conversation, right? It's in the conversation, no doubt about it. And through 2 games, you could make the case they have been the best. Tart doing slaps or taps on each game now, good idea. I think Paco. Is that good? Yes. I think you need salt. It was Bill Parcells who said you need a little salt on your defense. You need a couple of those guys. And I think Thier, that's what gets him going, man. And when you're putting together, what did I say for Thier? A 24% pass rush win rate, you're good. Go ahead. Get after a little bit. Just stay a little salty if that's how it engages you and keeps you going. All good. Eagles passing game hasn't gelled yet. No, it has not. Victory coffee with money. Exactly right. Congrats to Dicker. Please help explain the not covered call on Joe Alt. Yeah, you can't. You have to have your receivers have to be lined up as far as like the line of scrimmage is concerned. And if they're too far off, then your offensive lineman is not covered up. And that was their second. You had Keandre Lambert-Smith, who lined up offsides on what was a huge play, and then you had too many receivers off the line of scrimmage, and so that was the issue there. Do I like the new update? I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm gonna guess that might be a bot comment. Was it the game live? Run game needs to get going. Yeah, I think so, Marco. I would agree. And I think it's partially committing to it a little bit. But when you have Justin Herbert and he's cooking, that may be why. But I think it's hard for someone like Amarian to get into a rhythm when he's got 2 carries in the first half. So, certainly, and I think a lot of that, too, is blocking that thing up. I think they're still trying to figure that out. If you had Joe Alt and Mekhi Becton on that right side and Slater on the left, man, this run game would have been humming. I'm convinced of that. But I think they're still trying to figure it out. And I think that's also why that's where the Tucker Fisk being inactive comes in, because you've got Tyler Conklin out there who is trying his hardest, man. But he's definitely a tight end that's known more for his pass catching prowess and not his run blocking ability or his pass. I mean, he was going one-on-one with Max Crosby a couple times. And that's a real tough ask, and it didn't go well. But I think that's where the conversation of Tucker Fisk being active and somebody else being inactive on game day, maybe one of these receivers, being inactive on game day, is the way to go and get him on the outside, because, man, he can block. And I think if you can get Tucker Fisk out there with Scott Matlock as a fullback, now you're starting to move some bodies. And I think making sure that you dictate terms on the line of scrimmage and you're not the one that's getting pushed back. Herbert hurt his knee on the last tackle. I don't think so, no. Henley's no joke. Henley is an all-pro linebacker right now. Thule blew up the right tackle, cracked Genty, and batted the pass. Yeah, he was Millie D. He was exceptional in that game. We mentioned the 6 pressures. Let's see what else we got. Lions Chargers Super Bowl. I would love that, Matt. I don't care who the NFC team is. If it's the Chargers up in San Francisco, Super Bowl 60, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I have thought about doing these live on YouTube. It's probably not a bad idea for me to grow my YouTube profile, because I know Believe reposts them and they end up getting like 10, 11,000 views. So I'm sure I could probably do myself some favors, but whatever, man. I like being on here with y'all. So is what it is. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Tampa Bay's got a heck of a, no word on Mac injury yet. Daily podcast might be asking a lot, Matthew. I'll be honest. Between this, Believe, Chargers, yes, exactly. You get half the week. I get 3 of them. So tomorrow we'll do Believe with Lorenzo Neal. Thursday we'll do Chargers Weekly with Chris and Jaleel Adai. Heard your 60-yard. Oh, nice. Touchdown call and play of the day. Thank you to DP. Appreciate those guys. We go way back. DP launched his show when Petros and I were doing afternoons, as we still are, on AM 570. So know those guys for a long time, Paulie and Seaton and that crew. So I appreciate those guys putting that on there. It's very nice of them. No, I'm not a bot. Loved the game last night. I appreciate it. It was just a weird, I'm sorry. It was just a weird thing, this iOS update. I don't know. So I apologize. I'm sorry. I appreciate you being here. Love watching Chargers Weekly and Believe. Perfect. Thank you again. I'm sorry I called you a bot. Original my man Mills Music. Oh, and you're a musician too, which love that. So thank you. Pipkins held his own. He did. Yeah, I absolutely think he did. I said PFF had him with no pressures. I'll have to go back and watch because I thought there was a little bit there. No assumption on Mac. I don't know. I think it depends. If it's not broken, then it all depends. Can you play with a brace? Is there a way to stabilize that thing or not? Don't know. So, and I always hate Sal speculating on injury. You're the man, Supercharger. I appreciate you. You're the man, Bolt Up. What do you think will be the Chargers' win total for the season? Hard to say, but get off to a good start, man. And you go 3-0 in the division. And remember, you're already 3-0 because that's one of the tiebreakers. So that's the thing is if you can get to 3-0, knock off the Broncos, you in the moment own every single tiebreaker against the team in your division, and you're 3-0 in the division, which is if there's a tie at the top and you split with that opponent, then division record becomes the next tiebreaker. So huge for this start when it comes to the end of the season. Can I ask for a pick if I see you in Dallas? Absolutely, always. If you see me walking around the field or you see me walking around somewhere, please. And just chat. I love chatting with y'all, especially when we're out on the road. I had the TV on mute. Thank you for that. Do I think Tony Jefferson was down on his interception? Well, I think as he was going to the ground, there was that contact. And so he got touched as he's going to the ground, right? So that counts as a tackle. I think he's on the ground. He's being touched. And, yeah, it's kind of like think about somebody, if you trip a guy up, right, and then he goes to the ground, that's a tackle. You don't have to actually maintain contact with him the whole time. So I think that's kind of how it worked out. Mekhi Beck didn't do that. That poor guy trying to blitz Urban should not be allowed. He's a big dude, man, and he moves some bodies. Shemaiah, it's Hebrew, hard to say. I hope I said it right, Shemaiah. So thank you. Listen to PMS every day. Big Bolts fan. Can Herbert win MVP this year? No doubt. Kid Carm, I think he can. I mean, right now he's got 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions. And I mean, here, let's get into some stats here and see where he sits amongst all the passers. I mean, Josh Allen, obviously, with that primetime performance, is going to be hard to pass. But he is third right now in passing yards behind Daniel Jones and Russell Wilson. In terms of quarterback rating, he is second to Lamar Jackson. So let's see. Lamar's got 6 touchdowns to Herbert's 5. Herbert is thrown for 280 per game to Lamar's 217. And Herbert's completing 72% of his passes to Lamar's 69. So I think you're talking about those two at the top. And, yeah, I mean, he's going to be in the conversation with Lamar and Josh Allen right now, right? All 3 teams one team's 1-1. The Bills and the Chargers are 2-0. Daniel Jones is running away with, comeback player of the year right now. So how about Mac Jones with 3 touchdowns? I'm sure Kyle Shanahan, 279 and 3 tugs. I didn't see that. All right. What else we got? How was Lil Jon? Soapy the dog. Lil Jon was, hey, if you like somebody screaming shots 70 times in a row, then he was great. Thanks for doing this story time with us. You're welcome. I appreciate you appreciating me. Bolt Up from Eagle Pass, Texas, south of San Antone. Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining me. Hopefully we'll see you at the Dallas game. I know it's not that close, but it's the closest to anywhere you could go. It'd be great if you get out there, Crowder. All right, O-line, surprisingly great, incredible. Ranger getting a sack and interception. Yes, he should be an all-pro, Jeremy. No doubt about that. Appreciate you syncing up the game with me and DJ. And I said it, Lopez, how about Jamari Caldwell? I mentioned that in the pass rushing. I said in the pass rushing stats, Jamari, let me see what we got here. Yeah, this is just week 2. Jamari, 5 pressures on 23 pass rush snaps and a 22% pass rush pressure rate. Just super impressive. Look at that. So we got a lot of Texas folks. Amarillo. And Charlotte is where Shemaiah is. So, all right. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for checking in. Hopefully we'll be doing it again next week with a beer after the Bronco game as opposed to a morning coffee. So have a great day. Let's all hope positive energy for Khalil Mack. Good news on that elbow. I'm going to just Google it real quick to see if anything has come out. And 1 hour ago, nothing. So nothing yet. So let's hope for positive things. Chargers, let's see, Believe in Chargers tomorrow we'll post on YouTube, and then Chargers Weekly will post on Friday. So we'll get you your Bronco previews and more reaction from people that know a lot more about it than I do, like Lorenzo Neal tomorrow and Jaleel Adai on Thursday. But thanks, everybody, for checking in. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and bolt up.